any time. We have an important hearing today about law enforcement's use of facial recognition technology. It's an exciting technology. The world of technology offers us a lot of opportunities, but just because we can doesn't mean we necessarily should. And so there are a number of things that we need to have discussions about and try to figure out and tackle as a society. And this is one in a series of things that we're going to be discussing this year and next as technology brings us to new frontiers and new paths and new things that we need to dive into and look at. Because, again, while there's a lot of excitement and a lot of opportunity, there's also opportunities to have it misused or overused or create a whole nother set of problems that maybe our nation and our society and our generation have not yet dealt with. This happens to be one of those types of technologies. Facial recognition technology, it is exciting what can be done, but we have to look at how this affects law enforcement and our rights as Americans, particularly suspicionless Americans, and our right for privacy. The days of the old Sherlock Holmes dusting for fingerprints and looking for clues, they're being replaced by algorithms and software scanning millions of images at unprecedented speeds to match a face to a name. However, like many technologies used in the wrong hands or without appropriate parameters, it is ripe for abuse. Therefore, the oversight of the use of this technology is essential. Until recently, fingerprint analysis was the most widely used biometric technology for positively identifying arrestees and linking them to previous criminal history. In 2010, the FBI began replacing its legacy fingerprint database with an updated database that incorporates advancements in biometrics such as facial recognition, called the Next Generation Identification, or NGI. This is a database with an estimated cost of $1.2 billion. The FBI claims the NGI system, quote, brought the FBI's biometric identification system and criminal history information to the next level, end quote. Unfortunately, the FBI failed to fulfill its statutory duty to inform the public of this new next-level capability and used facial recognition technology for 5 years without publishing the required privacy impact assessment as required by law. Further, agreements are in place with 18 states that allow the FBI to request those states search their databases, including driver's license databases, using facial recognition technology. And if we have a graphic, let me have them put that up here if we could. Just to give you, those states in the dark blue are the ones that have various types of relationships with the FBI. Those in the light blue do not have those types of relationships. But you can kind of get a sense of where the nation is going and how states are entering into these memorandums of understanding. You can take the graphic down. To be clear, this is a database or a network of databases comprised primarily of law-abiding Americans. 80% of the photos in the FBI's facial recognition network are of non-criminal entries. Each of the photos from driver's licenses, they come from places like driver's licenses, passports, and whatnot. It would be one thing if facial recognition technology were perfect or near perfect, but it clearly is not. Facial recognition technology does make mistakes. For example, in a test the FBI conducted prior to deploying NGI, roughly 1 in 7 searches of the FBI system returned a list of entirely innocent candidates, even though the actual target was in the database. I also have concerns about studies suggesting facial recognition technology may have an unintended racial, gender, or age bias or deficiencies. Any technology biases or weaknesses correlating to race, gender, and age raise some serious concerns and need to be widely known and contemplated by law enforcement, legislative bodies, and the judiciary. Facial recognition technology is a powerful tool for law enforcement that can be used to protect people, their property, our borders, and our nation. The private sector may use technology to control access to sensitive information, protect financial transactions, verify time and attendance, and prevent fraud or identity theft, among other uses. But it can also be used by bad actors to harass or stalk individuals. It can be used in a way that chills free speech and free association by targeting people attending certain political meetings, protests, churches, or other types of places in the public. Perhaps most concerning is the prospect of its real-time use to track people's location throughout the day, a potential use that would fundamentally change what it means to live in a free society. For those reasons and others, we must conduct proper oversight of this emerging technology. I appreciate the witnesses and what they bring here. One of the things that we're going to also talk about today is, what does it mean when you populate the database? If the FBI could have its way, and the best I can understand, they would put everybody's face in one database, or a whole series of databases. And so, what does that mean? I guess if it's in a secure lockbox that nobody else can look at except the FBI, some people would argue that's a good thing. But we've seen the FBI, most recently, can't even keep the 702 information private and secure. I don't trust the federal government. I don't believe that there is such a thing where they can keep all of this information locked down and secure. Does anybody really trust and believe that they can create this massive database? Imagine how valuable that database is going to be if they had the facial recognition of every single American in their system. And then you could just go online and you could start figuring out exactly who's walking in your door. Some companies are actually using this type of technology. They know who you are before you walk in the door. And what does that mean if this information were to get into the wrong hands? So it poses a number of issues and challenges. I'd now like to yield such time as you may consume to Mr. Jordan of Ohio.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.